Mm. Well, Miriam, I don't know if everyone knows Miriam Reyes. I think yes. You want you can present yourself, Miriam, all your work and all the connection that you make between drawing, pictures, sound, writing, action. I don't know. The last time that I saw you was 10 years ago. I don't know. And we
not like I evolved very much.
performing, but yeah, we did stay together in the printer Automática, when we make a poem together with Gerard Altayó and Edouard Scoffet and Joaquim Montesui. And I know you're always like. I love your attitude because you are like Giorgio Agamben say, the contemporary act. It's not actual, but it's not outsider. You are in the borders. You're always there, but not completely inside. You're, not so far from us, but you're there. And I don't know. I always love that connection that you made between body, work, image, sounds, spirit. And I don't know what you're doing now. I know and what you want to talk, and maybe you can introduce your new work or your.
No, I was thinking about talking since the beginning, like very quickly, of course, how I decide to do some things and stop doing other things, and like because when I start at the same time I published my first book. I mean, I start writing, and when I published my first book, that was in 2001, and at the same time I was working as web designer, and was, of course.
Miriam, perdón, disculpa, ¿me puedes poner de nuevo como anfitrión para poder comenzar a grabar también? Y después te paso toda la cámara.
Vale, que necesito.
Sí, perdona que...
Vale.
Y si quieres repetimos un poquito la presentación que hizo Martín y ya comenzamos para...
Igual yo lo tengo grabado, Felipe, también, ¿eh?
Ya, bueno, pero por si acaso...
Te hago anfitrión, vale.
Al borde aparece... Ya, ahí estoy.
Perdón,
Es simplemente para poder grabar en la computadora. Okay.
So the thing, I was working by then with mainly with Flash and Dreamweaver. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, an action script.
And yeah, but even like at the very beginning of Flash, where everyone wanted the web page with an intro, moving intro, no? That time. So when I published the book was okay for me. But I believe that the poems could grow and develop outside the book, not only in the reader's minds, but also in the multimedia world. I didn't want the book to be a prison for the poem. That is something that sometimes happens when you write in a normal way, in what is understood as conventional way. So I thought they could become another thing, another experience, and and I wouldn't let the book, the object, to be a prison for the poem or the poem's owner. So together with Rubén Cárdenas, we did shockwave movies and flash movies from the poems. And we start working in more in that kind of platform. We participate in the first festival, offline Flash Film Festival, for example. And I started using the visuals for my readings since the very first presentation of my first book, because I felt that poetry readings are, moreover, book presentations were absolutely wrong. They were tedious and poem killers. So I believe it's quite obvious that when you are an audience of a poetry reading, you are not being a reader in that moment. You are being a spectator. So you are there in expectation. The poem can happen through your body, through your voice, through any means or vehicles you choose to use, but it has to happen for you as an spectator to enter in it. No? I think it's very difficult in a normal, in a conventional poetry reading to engage, even when you are a good listener, even when you really like the poet. So I was focused by then on two fronts. One was the possibilities, the creative possibilities of rewriting in another language, in an audiovisual language, and then the transformation of the poetry reading experience. No, I didn't want to make the typical poetry reading, and well, it wasn't interesting for me as an audience, so I didn't want to make something that I wouldn't like as an audience. So all these first flash and shockwave director, I cannot show it to you because they are not working anymore. What is working is one of the first, okay, thank you. One of the first flash, very, very basic, and I have it without the sound. Let me see how to do it. And this was for the okay, no, was okay, it's okay. I didn't want to show that, but okay, now you see black?
No.
No? Don't you see a black screen?
No, we just see your menu.
Ah, déjame compartir. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, so the first things were very basic, like based on the photographies. Now you see?
No.
No.
I don't know. Do you see? Sorry, me maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So there's the music is missing, of course, but it was now that I see it, it feels like a photo novel, you know. So they were basic photographies with some random lines or random shapes, like this one or this one. So of course it's missing the music and the poem, but it's just to show you the very, very first thing in. So, and I remember was terrible that time because they didn't have the flash player installed and they didn't have internet connection. So 20 years ago was complicated. So that was the very beginning. And after that, I began to work also with video and with graphics, which reacted to music thanks to a program made by a friend. But this program called Dildo Screen, made by Oscar Rollo, was made for, let me stop this. Was made for was made from director. So as soon as director stopped working, the program doesn't work anymore. And the only thing I have from that time is a video of a performance where I used some of the visuals with the program. So this was very, again, was a VJ program, but made from a guy. So it wasn't like the VJ programs we have now. No, it was very basic. but I was able to give to him the drawings or the photographs or wherever. He put it inside the program and then give it back to me, and I could use it in a very simple way. So that's the other thing I want to show you. What is this? So here, because the graduation is quite bad, no? So here it had some trails, some rotation, moving one side and the other side, and was very simple to use. And the problem in this presentation was that the sound wasn't really fitting the computer. So it wasn't really reacting to the sound as it should be. I found in Spain many difficult, technical issues, you know. Well, so that's one of the reasons maybe I grew apart from some technologies, because I found myself in a lot of troubles and also carrying a lot of things. So this one, for example, so you could use pieces of photographies or many different things. So I hate the reading now. After so many years, when I listen to me, I really hate it. But I think the images were very nice. Okay, so over the years, I have naturally moved towards the use of video, because it's at the end is the easier thing for me to use. I was tired of keeping update with technology, keep learning programming or asking others to program for me. But I do love all kind of digital poetry and multimedia poetry. But I don't know, at the end, I start with the video because was something I could do by myself, and I feel more free about that. So, and with the video, it's also made for the live session. It's not made for watching it as a separated piece. So I don't have many videos on the internet. I have some only, because in the live, of course, the voice is alive. So I have to record the voice, and well, and it's not the same experience. I think it's different. So although normally in my case, the poem, the written poem comes first, I mean, is born in the first place. The video is not an illustration or a complement. The video rises from the same source as the poem did, just as if it had been written again from there, so, but in a different language. And it's not about choosing those written poems I like most and then making videos from them. It doesn't work like this. Sometimes I record wherever I come across, just like taking notes. I'm gonna show you something. So this is from the beginning, is like 2005. This is a tunnel of where you wash your car. So by that time, I used to go with my camera everywhere, and this became a birth, like this tunnel was at the end like being given birth. I'm sorry, my English is. So, for example, this was also something I found. This is a huge fish tank in the street in Alicante. And I found this, and afterwards I felt the connection between this and a poem that talks about alienation and isolation and how we grew apart from people. And this was also something found.
Te tengo cargado. Te tengo cargado.
At the beginning, sometimes I record some voices so that I had like double voices.
¿Cómo avanzar a la par que el paisaje avanzar? ¿Cómo avanzar?
So they are just pieces. I also use wherever I have at home. So I have a video on the fridge, some videos on the bathtub, on the table, wherever I have at my reach.
Dejándose pudrir en un viejo colchón. Usamos antes de que alguien pensara en mí.
And also the video is the place where I perform. Maybe because I'm shy, or I don't know why, but I don't feel so confident to do this kind of stuff alive. So the videos are, in a way, a performance. So when I perform with the video, it's like a double me there. So I'm not showing you the videos. I mean, with the poem and everything, no? But there's some excerpts.
Este lugar y yo, este momento y yo somos una misma superficie. Este lugar y yo, este momento y yo somos una misma superficie. ¿Cómo avanzar a la par del paisaje?
This is from my Galician book. So this is a long video of 8 minutes. This video was made not for the performance, but instead of the performance for a festival, and it's 8 minutes long.
Pasaron moitas cousas dende que deixaron os teus osiños na caixa queda. O primeiro que pasou foi o tempo. Venceu o aluguer da cavidade onde guardaron a caixa.
So, okay. So that was one thing, the work with video that I still do. And in the live session, the video is like double. Well, I'm explaining myself. So, on another level, the other thing I want to show you is something I did with a computer, with randomness, and the computer picking my something called prensado en frío, that in English is called pressing, and was a robot profile in Facebook that was fed from my webpage, where there was a very simple script where if you click there, they would generate a poem mixing lines from 3 of my books in a random way. So all that would fit Facebook. That doesn't work anymore. Not because Facebook doesn't work. Wait, I want to show. Sorry. Really, I get very. I'm sorry because I get very nervous with Zoom. I'm not very good at Zoom. Okay. So that's why I never ask you anything when I'm listening to you. So I don't know if you see now the web page I'm showing. See? Okay. So it was very simple, and it was just generate new poem, but now it's not. Okay, now it's working. And then this poem will go to the Facebook. So it's completely random and without any coherence. So for me, that I was writing poems, very concerned about the meaning. This was a way of losing myself, of saying, okay, it's meaning is not so important, and what I have written can be completely torn apart for this script, and can be shown like different pieces of something. So afterwards, this became a book after another transformation, where I took everything that the script made and mixed it without changing anything, because the computer also, the script wouldn't change any of the lines. So, and after that, I decided to make it with more people and with a little bit more of how you say, interaction for the user. So this was also a very simple, well, a very simple, no, okay, no, he's trying to help me.
En castellano.
Ay, es que no me sale ni en castellano, chicos, te lo juro. Es que es una cosa, es un horror. Bueno,
En venezolano.
Ah, sí, da igual. La cuestión es que, bueno, es interfaz, a very simple interface. So, you have two options, trifonía and polyphonía. So you have ABC, ABC, where ABC, each one is each letter is a poet. So you have three possible poets. And in polyphony, you have the possibility of having an unlimited number of poets mixed. So, for example, for trifonia, I can take I don't know, this one, this one, and this one. So it makes the first stanza or stropha, no? So I can go on adding this, the more. I can move it from the place, but I can also eliminate one if I don't like where it is. Or I can say, okay, okay, this I don't like, but I don't want to go this up, so I will make another one here. So try to change till I find something I like. So these are a list of Spanish poets, I think most of them. There's a Galician poet also, Chuspat. And all these poems are recorded in a database and also feed a Facebook page, but it's not, the Facebook link is not updated, so it's not working either. So, and then if I change to Polyphonia, then I can choose all the poets I want and start making the ABA, DCB, CDC, and goes on and on and on. So this was something else. So it's like a collective writing between the machine, the poets, and the user. It's very simple also. And the last book, this is the Prensado en Frío, is my latest book in Spanish, and then I published a book in Galician. And Galician is not my language, because I was born in Galicia, but when I was born, where I was born in that city, the people won't use Galician language because of, well, many things, many political things, repression, fear, etc. So they only would use words of Galician, but inside the Spanish. And I left when I was 8 years, so I never really learned Galician. But I have all the memories from my grandfather, my grandmother, etc. All the songs, mostly the songs. So when I start reading a lot of Galician poetry, like in 2013, and translating and editing Galician poetry, and that helped me to go back, do the way back to the language. And also when I was doing this, so this book is full of play, is it's all the time playing with the language. I'm looking for my grandfather through the Galician language in this book. So I play a lot with the dictionary. So for example, for one of the poems, espera que me sale esto. For one of the poems, you know, grandfather in Galician is avó, which is with the letter A, the same as love, that is amor, no? Same as in Spanish. So I would put this is the dictionary of the Real Academia, I don't know how you call it, like the official dictionary in Spanish. And when you put A, you have all the significance of A, but also expressions that start by A. So one of the parts of the book is the ways of loving you, and they play with this idea of looking for him through the dictionary. So one of the, I don't know if I can I have to change the pantalla key maybe, right? So this is how it starts that part of the book, no? With different different ways of loving him, no? In the different ways of using the word a. Anyway, I'm so bad at this. I'm gonna do some, now you understand why I don't ask questions. I'm gonna do some performance with a musician. Okay, I'm gonna do some performance with a musician, but it's just improvisation. So I thought I want to do something in English. So I'm gonna do some improvised reading in English with the other computer because this one is not connected. So I take my audio from this one. And who do I? Espera. Okay. How can I make anfitrión Andrés?
Felipe maybe can do it. Andrés Rojas, if you can put him in. Oh. We don't listen your voice.
You can make him host.
Yeah, Miriam, you can make. Tú puedes hacerlo tú misma.
Sí.
Okay. Yeah. Hola Andrés.
Hola, hola. ¿Por qué te Hola, hola. Hola. Bueno, ahora mejor, ¿no? I'm gonna kill myself. Okay, I'm gonna read from The Arts in the West since 1945. You listen? Are you listening?
Yes.
Sadly. Wait.
Escucha súper bien, Miriam, dale con todo, ¿no?
Hola, hola. And now you listen to the voice as well? Okay.
La música está más fuerte que la voz.
Vale.
Hay que poner la voz un poco más fuerte, quizá.
children play, human beings in the animal kingdom, the games, the games from real life, the games from the world outside. These are domestic. These are melodrama, generally nasty people. The games children play mark a significant change. A little smooth, a bit too smooth. The games, the games. Serve with education and social policy. The games for girls and boys. The games, domestic souls. Many aspiring to be in the animal kingdom. Nasty people. Express for domestic, nasty people. A bit too small, a bit too small. The games children play, such as poverty, the games children play, very original. True humor is achieved through humor. Decided to Maybe that's where their contracts as a family. An exclusive vegan diet. About time wasting. It's almost a symbol. Almost a symbol. Then became a student. In its journey from cradle to grave. Journey from cradle to grave. We have bodies in water. We have floated and tumbling. We have floated and tumbling. Even more cerebral. His total seriousness is a part of my body. Often seen. It's a part of my body often seen. A symbol of both. On her life, it was technological change, as so often happens. Murmuring, barely audible sentences. Like so many superimposed, moving superimposed, too large, Call for reaction against as a blanket term. Would you like to join us? Sorry, I was asking you if you would like to join us, and so he was.
Hey. Open your mics, open your souls. Miriam, ¿quieres que te sigamos? Tú nos dices. Como tú quieras. Ponte el micrófono, sí, si no se escucha.
Sí, vale. I relax for a second. I be forced to relax. I relax for a second. I be forced to relax for a second. I be forced to relax if I let my body, if I let my body do it. I have to relax. I relax for a second. I have to relax to as though it really was. Animal noise.
chapter, Almost Thirsty. It's an expert. And with the chapter, the narrator ends with a chapter. Grew up the same. Grew up same main streets. The notion of extensions to study is at the heart of from which many in America it would describe some if where there was the notion if where there was the notion reunited here where environment yes exercise that said all that said there was still all that said all that said in the road that said everything I mean no question all that said at the beginning all that said at the beginning emerged from the profound liturgical influences to emerge from figures of time we emerge about the giants all emerge more than a flavor to a woman
It has become her. It has become her.
Has been electronic music, been inventions he admires most. He has been having spoken. He has been having spoken. Strange but moving work. He said, he was converting the vertical time of inspiration into the linear time of process. The vertical time of inspiration into the linear time of process. The linear time of process.
The way is turning. The way is turning.
I feel pity for my suffering self. I feel pity for my suffering self. My remembering self. My experiencing self. Oh, odd odd as, odd as it may seem. Odd as I feel pity. I feel pity for my suffering self. another thought experiment. Another thought experiment. For another thought experiment. Thank you, guys. I finished with this. I feel pity for my suffering self.
Great.
That's the that's the
I loved it.
Great, Miriam. Thank you very much.
Woo!
guys.
Hey, Miriam,
Well,
super,
really
super
great. Both
Thank you,
guys
Andres.
were great.
nice. Andres, great, Andres, thank you. Perfecto. Mira, just, yeah, just you can go again. ¿Puedes poner a Felipe de host de nuevo, por favor?
Okay.
Porque these are people at the door. They want to enter now. Like they're just waiting you finish your
They were sitting at the door.
like yeah, they fail to explode all the internet connection and go inside.
Yeah. Miriam, thank you very much. And can you tell us more about this collaboration with the? I don't know if it's a modular synthesizer or and if you can tell us more about the kind of collaboration you're doing.
Going to open the bottle of wine.
Yeah. first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Really
Hola?
enjoyed
Now, right?
it.
Well, no, we were. This is modular. He says, no, this is modular. No, we were doing something before with other instruments and with poems, but for a while he's working with the modular synthesizers, and this was just an improvisation. So it's not something that we do. It's the first time we do it. And
It was beautiful.
I don't know, but I'm sorry. I really, the theme is something for me so weird. The way I feel it. And
no, please. And were you using some effects?
Andres is musician, composer, and does a lot of things.
Mm.
He's not very into poetry, anyway.
That's for him.
Yeah, but what is the difference, Miriam, for you between sound, image? Because you work a lot with videos with sound and with music and text and your state of spirit, I can say in a way. No, con tu humor también, tu,
Ah,
tu transparencia de tu sensación. And how can, what is poetry for you in those mix? What is poetry? You start with writing, with sound, with smell, with
I
rhythm.
mean, normally I start with text, yeah. But it doesn't mean anything. It's just the way I normally start. But for example, the music with something like this is the music that makes me do something. Or for example, for the videos, I can't edit a video if I don't have the music. It's the music that tells me how the video is gonna be. So I may have the text, but then I look for the music to get the mood.
But for the videos, what is your process? The videos that you showed to us, your visual poetry. I felt you, because I remember you when you showed that in Madrid. I don't remember where was that. And you at the same time you're reading and you're showing that. What is the poem in the image, in the video, in the text, in the sound, in the absence?
No, the poem is in the moment. Is what is happening there with everything together. So that's why I don't like to have them like video poems online, or because it lacks of the presence, and it lacks of the live voice. So here, of course, I was very shy, but when you are in a stage, it's different, no? So the presence of the body language, and your voice, and also the space, everything is important. So for me, it's something that happens once and is there, and they are all together. It's not like one is more important than the other.
Yeah.
So the original text can completely change when you are alive, and it doesn't matter, because the text is, I mean, it's something you use, but you are creating something different from that.
Yeah, you search that kind of no meaning or nonsense in a way, like that take the text that for you that they like they become a different meaning for each reader or each spectator. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to be open, yeah, but it's not like a no meaning, because we have the tendency to look meaning everywhere. So we always will find a meaning everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Because it's something human that.
But when you explain your work about the Galician poetry or Galician language, and that although kind of permutation in your website of different poets in a way, in a moment you talk about that kind of rehearsal of beyond sense in a way, you know.
Yeah, of course. And for example, the thing I show you on the web, the published book that it was made with the pieces of the computer, it was dreamlike, because all the characters that were in the books, now they were transformed, because when you mix them, they became like, it's like a dream when a character becomes another, and very quickly. So from one line to the other, maybe my father becomes my dead grandmother, and my dead grandmother becomes my lover, and then I becomes me, no? So it's very, of course, it's another sense. It's not like there's no common sense. It's the dream sense.
Yeah, at the same time, it's that difference between sense and signification.
Yeah.
When I talk with Andres and Bante, we always discuss about that. It's not the problem with sense; the problem is with signification in a way, you know. Like, but because every, you know, like the positive psychology. Everything have to make sense, and everything, like
No, it's
your
true. It's
life
true.
have
Yeah.
to make sense in a way. And when you stop to make sense, and of course signification before, and we mix that the state that I when I felt you when I talk with you, and when I do your poetry, that kind of you are explaining that kind of poetry who has no shape, has not form in a way. Me explico, ¿no? Como que siento que cada vez que hablo contigo y cada vez que veo tu poesía, que tú estás tratando de mostrar una poesía en ti que tiene esa, claro, como esa protoforma primitiva que puede tomar imagen, puede tomar sonido, puede tomar texto, puede tomar movimiento. ¿Y en qué momento eso pasa a ser un libro o una performance? ¿Cuál es tu, cómo decir, cuál es tu norte? ¿Dónde va? ¿Hacia un libro? ¿Hacia una performance? No.
It depends, because, for example, now what I was working with Andres, not this, but what we were working, was a performance, but there was no book. I mean, there was poems, but they were poems, written poems, but the poems didn't make a book. So I'm not expecting to publish that. I want that for a performance.
Yeah,
so
good.
it depends.
Yeah, but I love that kind of mix between your soul and your actions, and same to say I'm shy, but that state of like a completely fragile, floating state, and at the same time that accurate permutation of different poets or different language or different nonsense. It's really powerful in you, and I love that. Thank you to share of that. I will visit more often your website. And in the website you have a moment that you can publish that in Facebook, isn't it? If you
the thing with the Facebook is I have to you have to update like the permission from Facebook to publish from an outside source. So, because it's a so it's like I did that and then I don't keep updating. So now if you go to the Facebook profile, it's very out of date. It's like, I don't know, 2016 or something like that. So I should do it, but I keep doing other things instead of that.
Nice. But no, because I imagine in a moment that every one of us in this group, we can like connect to that website and publish one of your generative poems in our Facebook page.
That would be nice, yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I have to update that.
Or maybe we can do it now, like every one of us take a
No, but Facebook. Okay, but yeah, but you have to share it by yourself because the automatic sharing is not working. So
yeah, but
you have to copy and paste.
If you send to us the link, maybe we can like make an exercise. All of us we can have a Facebook page to publish a poem for this moment. I don't know if you agree with me.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Please post a link to that for sure.
Yeah, Miriam, you have to open your microphone in your other camera. No, in that one. Yeah. Eso, en esa.
Sí, pero okay. Where is the chat? I cannot see the chat. Sorry, I can't see the chat. Okay, the page is not my page. Is I can't find the chat. Ah, okay, I saw it. Okay. Okay. No.
Oh, thanks, Joy.
Wait.
Great, George. We have to play together in Barcelona once. Let's move everyone to Barcelona now. We are in a good plan for that. Then I
That
talk
is
to you
the
later.
page for mixing the poems. Not my poems, but from many people. Okay.
Okay.
But
Miriam, I wanted to ask you something. It seemed like the way that, I mean, your experiments were really interesting because there's two things that came to mind. You wanted to create an experience for the audience. The audience was very important to you. And one of the ways you do that through the text is sort of doing things that cause surreality. I mean, it's not so much the sense or signification, but more like maybe the sense of surreal signification. Like when you mix up words from the books you were reading and you do what you want with them, it creates for you an experience at the moment, but also it sort of, those things, like when you take text and that experiment with all these different people, or when you did that with your own work, you know, it creates a kind of surreal thing. And whenever you create a surreal thing, it kind of really involves the reader in a way that's totally different. And so that's what I really appreciated in the work.
yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, open to a different kind of consciousness. Yeah. Yeah. I believe in that, and also in a way of working with that, with the unconsciousness. Oh, it's such a difficult word to pronounce. I'm sorry.
That's great. And why you are drawing now in this moment?
Who? I am not drawing.
No? What you're doing now in this moment?
Now I'm drinking wine.
Yeah, but in this
You mean okay.
the Ion moment, in the poetry moment.
Mm. I'm writing something. Right now I'm writing something.
Can you read it to us?
It's in Spanish and
Yeah, good, good. Hey, please. Spanish poem.
no, it's not a poem. I don't know what is it. But
What are you going to do with it though? Because it seems like the work you showed us tonight, from your earliest ones to now, you're kind of subverting the idea of in your own practice, at least, kind of, you know, keeping with your own words, or keeping with your own words in a certain order or whatever. So are you changing your practice, or how's that?
yeah, it's true. I do have written poems, new written poems. I mean, not new, but not non-published written poems, and I don't feel like sharing that because I grew in some way tired of that. But what I'm writing now is mixing. I'm applying some technique of like transformation, one text in another. So also it comes in a way surrealistic, but it's only pieces of that, and it's kind of a narration, but it's not exactly a narration. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, because I'm this month is terrible. I'm with work and other kind of work, so but I don't know,
Which work?
I don't know where I have it because I'm so messy. Okay, I can read you the beginning.
Okay.
But it's in Spanish. You won't say it's el gran desplazamiento. Cruzamos el dinero a padres donde se pierde toda mayoría visual con la cárcel. Tan sentados nuestros asuntos desplazándose a 900 legiones por nada. Hay muchos como nosotros, de la misma edad y de región parecida. No somos los únicos en llegar tarde. Cuando ya no hay hora que rascar, pero no se sabe. Unos pocos son escapados. Uno que desertó de los kilómetros, otro que huyó de un cuerpo que podía acabar en tierra. Pero las conexiones vienen a lo que vienen mis alturas, a eso de hacer Atlántico. Hacemos el Atlántico a alturas donde se viene toda conexión visual con la tierra. Tan venidos nuestros cuerpos acabándose a 900 kilómetros por hora. Hay muchos como nosotros, de la misma región y de edad parecida. No podemos ser los únicos en huir tarde, cuando ya no hay nada que desertar, pero no se es. Unos pocos se saben escapados, uno que rascó de la legión, otro que llegó de un asunto que quería desplazarse en cárcel. Pero la mayoría se sientan a lo que pierden mis padres, a eso de cruzar dinero. Atlanticamos el cruce a pérdidas donde se alza toda sentada visual con la tierra. Tan sentados nuestros desplazamientos corporeizándose a 900 kilómetros por hora. Hay muchos como nosotros, de la misma región y de edad parecida. No rascamos los únicos en llegar tarde, cuando ya no hay nada que ser, pero no se sabe. Unos pocos escapados, uno que legionó de la deserción, otro que asunteó de una huida que podía carcelar en acabado. Pero la mayoría vienen a lo que vienen mis padres, a eso de hacer dinero. Bueno, it's longer, but...
And can you read the end?
It's a novela. He's writing a novel.
You have the beginning at the end. It's finished. We can publish tonight.
It's too long. No, it's kind of a novel.
Yeah.
But comes from this it's a transformation technique. So it begins in a way and gets to another. So sometimes begins clear and it gets really messy, and sometimes it begins very messy and ends very clear. Becomes very clear.
Nice. Very wonderful. No, because it made me think that that feeling as wake. The last sentence of feeling as wake is the first of the book. Like circular books or infinite books. Like the end at the beginning is in the front, and all the novel is around there.
Yeah. This is in a small fragment. So.
Then you are making sounds, you are writing, but not drawing.
Not very much, lately, no.
Dancing?
Huh?
You're dancing? You dance?
I dance in my videos, so I love dancing. Yeah, my videos is the way I am a dancer there. Maybe with my hands or with some repeated movements. So I do there what I don't do alive,
Can we make a poem with your hands now? Maybe all of us can do it. Probably yeah, all of them playing, Please,
yeah.
please.
We can try to do a hand poem. I don't know how that sounds.
No, Miriam,
dirígenos.
dirige nuestras manos.
Sí.
A todos los que estamos presentes, dirige nuestras manos.
I do have one poem that is with the hands.
Great.
No, de verdad, es que este hombre es...
Dale, Miriam, dale.
Que no voy a dirigir las manos, dirígelas tú.
Pero es un poema que tú hiciste, ¿no?
Sí, tengo varios con las manos. Sí.
Pero eso, muéstranos eso, por favor.
¿Eh?
Muéstranos esos poemas, sería lindo verlo, ¿no?
Con las
Show
manos.
one hand poem.
Please.
If you make me able to share, I look for it. I have it somewhere.
No, make it live now with your hands.
No way. No way, but I have to find it because I don't know where I have it. I have it, but with no. The thing is, I use Resolume for the live, so it's better for Resolume not to have sound. I mean, in the same file as the video. So normally I have the video without the sound. You know. So I do have one, but I think it's without the sound. Let me see. It has no sound. A ver. Okay, maybe this one. You want only the part of the hands? It has no subtitles. Mi alrededor es en realidad oscuridad y no puede verse. Cuando era pequeña y pensaba cuando era pequeña y pensaba en invisible, pensaba en transparente, nunca en oscuro. Porque no sabía y ahora sé. En todo el universo no hay un solo cuerpo que no tire de otro. Con toda su oscuridad que no puede verse. That's the hands.
Wow.
Qué lindo, wow, super.
Where I am.
I have a question for you, Miriam.
Uh-huh.
In all these works, you are collaborating with different people, musicians, artists, etc. And I'd like to know how is the conversation when you are preparing this work, because usually you need to find like a common language for example, when I have worked with musicians or artists, sometimes we have to invent concept of or procedures to see if we understand the same thing, or sometimes you don't know anything about the program another people is using, and you have to like make yourself understand. How is that kind of conversation?
Well, the reason I work mainly with video is because I can do it by myself.
Oh, great.
I began taking music, like already made music, like free, como, ¿cómo se dice la música? Free Commons, no. Well, anyway. So I start working with music already done, and I try also to make something by myself, very like minimal, and then when I have worked with musicians, yeah, you have to get, for example, Andres did a different, the video I show a little excerpt. It's a video with I cutting a rock, a stone. I'm cutting stones, trying to cut a knife. So this video had already 3 different musics, and the last one it's from Andres, and really changed completely the video. So he did something that now is really scary. For me, it wasn't scary. And now really is very scary. So that can happen. Maybe for him, what is happening there and what is saying in the poem is scary, so he did that. It's like a horror movie. And but at the beginning,
the video was scary already. The video was scary.
¿Me puedes poner un poquito de vino? No, at the beginning,
I just contributed to the real thing of the video.
He's saying that it was already scary.
Well,
But
and for example, this kind of collaboration, maybe you change the poem, or the poem stays as it were, or you can start improvising. How?
I don't mind to change the poem, of course. I don't mind to change it, no, because the poem, the written poem, is one thing. It has nothing to see with all the rest of things you do. So I have no problem at all. In fact, what I want to do more is be alive with another musicians, artists, so I can be like moved to do other things, you know, because otherwise I always do the same in a way, you know, because you have your resources and you have your obsessions, so you feed yourself with the same. So it's very interesting to work with people so they move you to do other things. And also that's why I'm you will see me as public, as audience of many, many different things, because I really have interest for many different kind of poetry, and not only poetry, many, many different things.
Well, that's great.
I don't know if anyone have a question in the audience. Jörg, how was your?
Yeah, well, it's not really a question. It's just that I thought, well, first thing I really liked is the expression of the book being a prison for poetry. Or for poems. That's something that really resonates for me, because I've felt that for a long time. And also I think that the history you have with, I don't know, doing things in Flash and then the Flash not working anymore, and then you're also moving away from Flash actively, is really something. Yeah, I had the same experience in a way, and it's funny because the development is really like something I really resonate. I don't know, it's just a comment. It's not really a question. I just really like it.
You keep doing. I mean, you didn't change your path. I feel that you went the same path, and I really loved your work. And but I was like, I don't know. It's something. I think it has to see with your personality, maybe, or with your. I don't know. I just, for me, was like, okay, it's too complicated now, or it's too. So I think I feel I miss.
I don't know, from watching what I saw is, I don't know, it even got more, I only saw snippets of it, but it got more complex, at least at how it looks like. And I think it's an improvement, because I don't know, I don't care about how it is done really. It's how it feels and looks like. And for me, it got more interesting, and I really like the videos you did, because they're really, I don't know, they're really stunning. So.
The one is fantastic. The birth.
Yeah, but it's like at the beginning of I don't know if you feel the same. At the beginning of, not the beginning of internet, but the beginning of internet for regular people, no? It was like full of promises, no? No, don't you feel that?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And when I remember all the designing studios, the things that they were doing, I don't know if you remember the webpage of Wrecking for a Dream, that was from a studio in UK. I don't remember now the name. Was amazing. Was a completely experience. That website for a movie was really had the same. You will feel the same as the movie, and also it was very interactive, and you had plays there and ways to play, and all that disappeared. And now I feel, for example, the presence of poetry on internet now is like a picture of the book, or maybe a blank page with the written words. So it's like all these promises from 20 years ago is like, forget about it, no? At least on internet, it became like so, like by the I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I think it follows the development of all media. Like at the beginning, it was only the crazy people like us doing stuff on the internet. So we did the experimental crazy stuff, and then it looked like as if that was the internet thing. But then all the other big names and publishers came, and they of course did their whole boring stuff again. And now they're the big players, and they fill up the whole space, because these things are still existing, but they are not in focus anymore, because now, like all poetry and all literature, it's more like a venue for selling the whole old shit again, and we are not seen anymore. That's the thing, right? And before that, we were the only ones, and the only ones who were crazy enough to do that.
Same old underground.
Yeah.
Internet underground.
Yeah, like a Russian page or something. That's true. I wasn't looking at the issue in that perspective, and you are right. Yeah, it was very exciting. It was very exciting,
Yeah.
and with all that really like the like Dave Carson and Joshua Davis. There was a lot of people, designers and artists working together and making really wonderful stuff. Yeah. Anyway. No, for commercial brands, for big brands also.
Another question: how? I mean, it's like a question we were making almost every session. How this situation of being during the pandemic inside the house and not meeting too much people in person and spending more time quiet or alone has influenced maybe your new works. Are you working on something that has been made during this month?
Well, the only thing is this thing I read, and this was this kind of writing. It was it comes from before, but I during this time, of course, like everyone, I had more time to dedicate it to it because I was used to go to a lot of concerts and readings, many things in the afternoons. So now I had all the afternoons for me. So that was nice. What wasn't nice? What was the feeling of a police state? Like, because we had this very it's called a state of alarm. What we had here in Spain. So if you wanted to go to the supermarket and you wanted to go 2 people to the supermarket, you could get fined. It was not allowed to go 2 people to the supermarket, for example. So it was kind of a paranoid state. And in the moment I was okay, but now when I recall that moment, I feel like it was kind of traumatic, I get really paranoid with that. I mean, I do have problems with police, I know, me myself, but in that time was really, I don't want to come back to that. I hope we don't. I hope we don't.
Which problem with police?
But I was too nervous to really concentrate in something. ¿Qué dices? What do you say?
¿Qué problemas con la policía? Me hace pensar a un disco de Leonard Cohen. And it's a song is called Just Police, because he was in a kind of delusion that he saw that his mother-in-law was the jazz police, and every time he listened jazz in a moment, it was a different state.
No, but I mean, well, I grew up in Venezuela, where the police can do anything to you. And so I was taught to not talk to the police, not get close to the police, And here, for example, we got into troubles because we went together to the supermarket, just crossing the street, and the police stopped us, and there was no way to there was no way to get into reason, It's like, it doesn't matter what you say. It's like normally the police has this really narrow way of seeing things. So it's really, I don't like people with guns.
Yeah, of course, but that is beautiful. I thought in that delusion of Leonard Cohen of Jazz Police is a kind of fiction, and when you put that kind of the connection between poetry and science fiction, that moment, it became real in a way. Like it became real, and we are kind of antenna that we perceive, and we expand some kind of vibrational sounds of I don't know. And anyone want to talk? Chris?
I've already said something. Someone else say something.
Martin.
I can so Miriam, you're writing this new thing. So presumably you still feel the same way about, you know, you don't want to just freeze it in a book. So what are you going to do with it?
I don't know. It's not done, so I don't know. But
Are you going to freeze it? Are you going to freeze it in a book, or are you going to release it from a book? Do you know that?
Yeah. I mean, for example, the poems I have written, because this is not poems. The poems I have written, I want to make it into something with music. I don't know if I will work with video after so many years. Maybe I mean, I already tried to do it without a video. And I think it works, but maybe, I don't know what I will do exactly. But
cool.
Miriam?
Hola.
Hola. I wanted to ask you something about the piece, the video of the car wash machine.
Just
you said it is a birth, and when you said that, it completely blossomed in front of me. I wanted to ask you about titles. What is the title of that piece? Is it Birth?
No. The thing is the piece. I just wanted to show like the images for showing where they came from. But the piece is with a poem, and the poem is about the birth.
Perfect.
So,
so you read it together with projecting the video?
Yeah. So but at the time I recorded, even at the time I edited, I wasn't thinking. It's kind of intuitive thing. But then when I see that, it's very obvious that is like when what you see when you're going out, this blurry thing, you know? And so but you can feel it with the poem, because the poem is about that.
How long is the poem?
It's short.
Can you read it?
I can wait. I will look for the video, so I read it with the videos. Okay.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you.
It's very old. That's one of my first videos. I think
Fantastic.
from 2004.
Okay.
And I have it. Wait.
Maybe we can follow at the end of the video. We can follow you in collective sounds.
In what? Wherever
we follow your video and we start to like a collective performance of every Wednesday at the end of the emission. No?
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share. Wait, because I'm drinking wine and I'm very
drunk.
So it will be a sound poem. Great.
Okay. Let me see if I remember, because it's a very old poem. It's very simple poem. Okay. I go there. Mamá y yo, en la madrugada del 29 de diciembre de 1974, nos acercamos a la muerte. Mis hombros eran demasiado anchos y el médico se vio forzado a empujar mi cabeza de vuelta al útero. se tomaron su tiempo. Éramos una sola cosa azul cuando me sacaron de allí. Y azul crecí. Mis caderas se hicieron más anchas que mis hombros. Para nada. Yo también ahogué cabezas y sexos. Pero no salvé vidas. Aunque me tomé mi tiempo y el de otros. Bueno, the timing, as it's a long time since I do this poem, the timing wasn't right. I was supposed to end before the black, but
No,
but you see, the poem is about that.
Okay.
So
Great, Miriam. And maybe before to finish, you can direct us to open our hearts, open our souls, our spirits, our bodies, and just like give us some direction, and we can make a collective laugh. Appreciation.
someone is already open.
Huh?
Martin is already open, right? Is it you, Martin?
Yeah. I just like bring us some wings or root.
No sé.
Where's the little baby?
Miriam, no te escuchamos, Miriam. Dice Michael.
Hola, hola, hola. Afecto cualquiera de un individuo cualquiera. Un afecto cualquiera de un individuo cualquiera. del afecto de otro. Un afecto cualquiera de un individuo cualquiera difiere de otro. Difiere del afecto de otro. Un afecto cualquiera de un individuo cualquiera difiere del afecto de otro. Deseamos disfrutar de ello. De esa manera. Disfrutarlo. De esa manera. El temblor, la palidez, los sollozos, porque se refieren solo refieren solo al cuerpo. La palidez, los sollozos, la risa, porque se refieren solo al cuerpo. Otras imágenes de las imágenes de las cosas de otro modo. De otro modo acerca. El cuerpo adquiere.
De otro modo.
El cuerpo adquiere. El cuerpo adquiere ese alimento, los sollozos, la risa, ese alimento, un afecto cualquiera.
Und
el desdén, la vergüenza, el arrepentimiento. La generosidad, la generosidad, la vergüenza. El estómago seco. El cuerpo sufre un cambio en su constitución. El deseo, la las causas exteriores. Semejante a las olas del mar. Lo que llamamos hastío y repugnancia. Las afecciones exteriores del cuerpo. El temblor, la palidez de sus luces. Otras imágenes de las cosas. La templanza, la sobriedad, la presencia de ánimo en los peligros, el cuerpo, la imagen de dicho alimento, el cuerpo, sufre un cambio en su constitución, una nueva constitución. Se excitan en él otras imágenes de las cosas. Suele deleitarnos con su sabor. El cuerpo, ese deseo o esfuerzo. El cuerpo, las afecciones exteriores del cuerpo. Afecciones que acompañan los afectos. Los principales afectos. Los principales afectos y fluctuaciones del ánimo. El deseo, la alegría, la tristeza, el cuerpo.
Partnering.
Queda por hacer el cuerpo. Queda por hacer el cuerpo. Queda por hacer el cuerpo. Es evidente que nosotros somos movidos, de muchas maneras. Nos balanceamos, somos movidos de muchas maneras. Es evidente. Es evidente, nos balanceamos. Ignorantes de nuestro destino, del futuro acontecer, nos balanceamos. El amor está unido al arrepentimiento, fácilmente al arrepentimiento. Nos balanceamos. Nos balanceamos porque Cuando imaginamos algo, ese deseo es fuerte. Cuando imaginamos algo, cuando imaginamos algo, cuando imaginamos algo mediante la amistad, por firmeza, mediante la amistad. Firmeza y la generosidad. Y el alma comienza al mismo tiempo a imaginar y desear otras cosas. Otras cosas. Otras cosas. Otras cosas. Imaginamos algo que suele, imaginamos algo que deseamos disfrutar. Imaginamos algo que deseamos disfrutar. Y el cuerpo sufre un cambio. Imaginamos algo que deseamos disfrutar y un cuerpo sufre un cambio. Apetecíamos. Apetecíamos. Cuerpo adquiere una nueva constitución que apetecía. Acompañan los afectos. Temblor, la palidez, los sollozos. Acompañan al cuerpo. Acompañan al cuerpo sin relación. Acompañan al cuerpo sin relación alguna. Acompañan al cuerpo sin relación alguna con el alma. Acompañan al cuerpo sin relación alguna con el alma. Los principales afectos acompañan al cuerpo, los principales afectos de un individuo de aquella alegría. Aquella alegría cuando el alma se concibe a sí misma. Aquella alegría de todos los afectos. Aquella alegría. Aquella alegría. Aquella alegría de todos los
aquella alegría,
aquella alegría,
ella,
aquella alegría de todos los afectos, aquella alegría. Aquella alegría acompañada por la idea de una causa exterior. Aquella alegría acompañada por la idea de una causa exterior. Aquella alegría acompañada por la idea de una causa exterior.
aquella.
Idea de una causa exterior. Cuanta más realidad o ser tiene una cosa, cuanta más realidad o ser tiene una cosa, aquella alegría. ¿Quién imagina que se destruye lo que ama? ¿Quién imagina que se destruye lo que ama? ¿Quién imagina que se destruye lo que odia? ¿Quién imagina? Imagina lo que ama, afectado de alegría. Quien imagina lo que ama, afectado de alegría. Quien imagina. Quien imagina algo que imagina afecta. Quien imagina algo que imagina afecta a los demás. De alegría. Quien imagina algo que imagina afecta a los demás. De alegría. Quien imagina algo será afectado de una alegría. Nos esforzaremos. Nos esforzaremos. Nos esforzaremos.
Hemos.
Nos esforzaremos.
esforzaremos, hemos, haremos,
Habrá también
saliremos,
en el alma
caeremos,
una idea adecuada. Nos esforzaremos. El cuerpo humano. El cuerpo humano suele ser afectado.
caeremos,
Nos esforzaremos. Nos esforzaremos. ¿Quién imagina que se destruye lo que ama? ¿Quién imagina que se destruye lo que odia? ¿Quién imagina? Afectado por la imagen. ¿Quién imagina? Afectado por la imagen. ¿Quién imagina? El mismo afecto. ¿Quién imagina? ¿Quién imagina? ¿Quién imagina el mismo afecto? Un afecto cualquiera de un individuo cualquiera.
caeremos, caeremos, sumirá, hemos, caeremos, volveremos, hemos, sonaremos, caeremos, sonaremos, 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 saliremos, caeremos, sumirá, esforzaremos, haremos, sonaremos, 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 sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos, esforzaremos, sumiranos,
Una infección reprime el esfuerzo. No pueden entristecerse su fuerza. No pueden entristecerse su fuerza. Los leones de su fuerza. Envidiamos a los árboles su altura, a los leones su fuerza, a los leones su fuerza. Envidiamos a los árboles su altura, a los leones su fuerza. No es raro, no es raro. La envidia es el
No
odio
Instagram.
mismo. La
No
envidia
Instagrado.
es el odio mismo.
No Instagram. No Instagrado.
La envidia es el odio mismo.
No Instagrado.
Envidiamos a los árboles su altura, a los leones su fuerza.
No Bakeruo.
Envidia es el odio mismo.
Unbakeruo. Rebakeruo.
La envidia es el odio mismo.
Create. Pre-8. Bakiro. Pre-Bakiro. E-Bakiro. Pre-Bakiro.
Three vaqueros.
Perfección e imperfección.
Free Bakiro. Free Bakiro.
Free vaquero.
Bakiro.
Free
Vaquero
vaquero.
sobre el bien y el mal.
Baker Bakiro.
Sobre el bien y el mal. Sobre el bien y el mal. Bien y el mal.
Fire Bakiro.
Fire vaquero.
Unbakiro. Unbakiro. Unbakiro.
I'm vaquero-ness.
Hombre sometido a los afectos. Hombre sometido a los afectos. Sometido a los afectos.
Vaquero.
D. Vaquero. Hair Vaquero. Ear Vaquero.
Air.
Ear Air Vaquero.
Ear. Vaquero. Und.
Fuerza que realizamos según la razón.
Multi Vaquero. Multi.
Todo esfuerzo que realizamos según la razón no es otra cosa que todo esfuerzo que realizamos según la razón no es otra cosa que conocimiento. No es otra cosa que conocimiento.
Vaquero.
Conocimiento.
Vaquero. Grasp. Vaquero. Grasp. Vaquero.
Nadie se esfuerza por conservar su ser a causa de otra cosa.
Nadie. Off. On. Off. Off.
On off. On off.
On. Off. Off more Vaquero. On. Off.
On off.
Off. Back off. Vaquero.
On Vaquero. On.
On.
Off.
On. Down.
In, out, Vaquero. Moonfish Vaquero. Vaquero. Oh, 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 oh.
And daremos. And daremos.
Lo que debe decirse de cualquier modo no es nada.
Vaquero.
Lo que debe decirse de cualquier modo no es nada.
Cats. Vaquero.
No es nada.
Caro.
Que debe decirse de cualquier modo no es nada. ¿Cómo?
No. Vaquero.
Lo que debe decirse de cualquier modo no es nada. 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 Lo que debe decirse de cualquier modo no es nada. No es nada. Una idea que excluye la existencia de nuestro cuerpo. Una idea que excluye la existencia de nuestro cuerpo. Una idea que excluye. Una idea que excluye la existencia de nuestro cuerpo. La existencia de nuestro cuerpo. La existencia de nuestro cuerpo. Una idea que excluye la existencia de nuestro cuerpo. No es nada. No es nada. 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 No es nada. No es nada. Una idea que excluye la existencia de nuestro cuerpo.
This was Spinoza. It would be nice to read it in different languages, maybe for another time, right?
Yes, Spinoza.
It would be nice to read it in different languages.
right?
Or maybe we can invoke him with some spirits people, and we can invoke Spinoza.
Don't you think we already did that?
Yeah, everywhere. You did that. I just follow you. You're advocating Spinoza. Yeah, that is an invocation. You know, when you read this poem, he's alive with us.
Yeah, he's very alive.
Great, Miriam. Thank you for all the love and all the.
It all came from here. I did nothing. He was.
Huh?
Did it come? Okay, I have like the corrections here. Thank you, guys. We could stay like this, like for hours.
Yeah,
Right?
forever. Like we can put it and like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Infinity, man.
No, we have a grant like for like Galactic Association of Art to give us a grant for like 100 years of lights to make poetry. Go on, Martin, guys.
I'll wait for you here in the earth.
Ay.
Martin, you speak too loud.
I don't know why I have this echo. I don't know. Guys, I love to be with you and see you doing